many lights on. Less light. Well, that bloody helped, didn't it? Alright. How are you all doing? I like weird dates. I have to do things on odd dates, random days, things that might be significant. So, like, if something happens on XYZ day, now might be a good time to start random project. There's a little quirk that I've got going on, and for some reason, I thought that today would make one of those kind of good day grooves, because it's 2021-02-21. Not quite the same groove, but you know. So, to mark the occasion, which I understand no matter how you say it is stupid, I was actually going to save this one for potentially an anniversary, which is coming up next month. So like I like to do things on, like, say, November 1st, Mexican Day of the Dead, Halloween, so 31st of October, whatever day then, whatever day here, whatever was supposed to have happened on that day that would have had some kind of significance, do something on that day, because it makes it easier for me to remember with my broken head. But anyway, today's little project, which I really thought was going to take longer than it did, I spent like an hour on it this morning, and the only reason it took that long was because I was just like, it's early hours of the morning, and I must have forgot to do something. I don't even know how I fixed it. I think there must have been like a typo somewhere, because at one point it didn't work. No idea why. Then out of nowhere, it was working. So, stop beating around the bush. I have made a Gemini capsule. But what's Gemini? Gemini is basically, imagine the web, but with none of the bloat. So I complained the other day about how beefy the tinterwebs be these days, and I've been checking other websites today. Depending on where you are in the world, also seems to dictate how much bloat you have in your websites. If you're in Yankeeville, the amount of bloat per page goes up significantly than if you're, say, here in the UK. The average site seems to be a little bit more bandwidth friendly, even though we have better networks than the States. The internet in America is all over the place. I think the only other place I can think of that's supposed to be a really great place to live but have really sucky internet is probably Australia, where they don't really have internet. They still have the cup and string method to data, so they don't even have dial-up. It's just literally to string. Yeah, we tend to have slimmer websites and waistlines. But Gemini is mega small because it's largely text-based. Okay, so the idea being you want to have as much information on your site as possible, but keep it mega small. Kind of like how the internet used to be back in the dial-up days, before we started making everything look pretty. Because you'll find a lot of stuff on websites is like scripting and this and that, and it's like, do I really need all of this just to read that some geezer's being a dick, or a new product is being released, or this or that, or do I need megs and megs and megs and megs of images and scripts and all that to really get? And even then, you're like, well, there's probably only a paragraph worth reading in all that, and it just took about 5 years to pull it down. It's not that people's computers are getting, like, people don't need new computers or better internet connections. We need to kind of put the internet on a bit of a diet. So Gemini seemed kind of cool. It's one step up from like Gopher, which is old. No one really uses Gopher. It's texty. Gemini is a little bit more featurey, but not and fatter than Gopher, but not quite the tinterwebs. It's not trying to replace the tinterwebs, but then, Anyway, let me show you my Gemini site. It's written in, I guess, it looked like Markdown, but I could be completely wrong because I was like, "Ooh, that worked," and then I tried to do something else. I was like, "That doesn't. That's not what I was expecting." But yeah, it's Markdown E. Could be Markdown. I just might be not very good. So this is a terminal. Don't let it scare you. You can get GUI, graphical user interface, browsers for Gemini. This won't work in your standard Firefox, Chrome, fluff like that. But dude, check that. I think this is fun. So I'm using Amphora. Ta-da! This is basically what a Gemini site looks like. What's that, mate? That looks terrible. Just hush, please. Right. Mine is Skazius.com. Now, if anyone goes to Skazius.com today, they'll find that Skazius.com is actually down, the main World Wide Web, full-fat HTML, CSS magic website, which is probably actually no more feature-rich than my Gemini site. The idea is that if my website ever goes bigger than a floppy disk, like in storage, like 1.5 meg, it's too big. Skazius.com, I had to press space in Amphora, type in the thing, Skazius.com, hit enter. This be my Gemini site. Get ready to criticize on all of the magic fluff. There's loads of spelling mistakes. Probably, but this is literally it. The code for this is non-existent. The size of the page is literally non-existent. What you see here is literally pretty much the code for my site. It is. Like, this is it. It's basically, depending on how I've put things in front of things, might dictate whether or not it's a link or what color it is on the screen. So, like the single hash there, or as the pound, right? Single, red, look, header 1. 2 of them, header 2, green. And then other stuff. Links were literally, what was it, an equals, was that greater than or less than that symbol that makes it look like an arrow? And then where I want it to go, that made a link. It's really, like, literally a child could do this in seconds, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. It's so I haven't got a lot on here, but I made like a blog of sorts, which is terrible. I just pressed 1 to go to that page because you might notice there was a number next to the thing. So if I press the B key, I'll go back. Look, there you go. There's a number 1. You press number 1. Bam. You go to my page that was linked number 1. How great is that? And that's got some words on it, and that's really pretty. And then you go back because there's no fat there. That's really cool. And then all right, I wasn't supposed to have done this, but if you look at number 2 is an image gallery. Now, you can, I believe, link images, audio files, video and things, and Gemini will open up a program to handle those, or they won't, like, it won't be displayed in the browser. I don't even think if you've got a GUI browser, it'll open it up in a browser. I think it'll just kind of download it to your machine, and then your machine opens it up. But yeah, so I kind of took the mickey, because there's supposed to be a text browser, so, or a text-based site. So I went, bam. You might not be able to really tell what that is, but this was my first attempt. But the second one's down here. If anyone has been to my PixelFed account, this is an ASCII version of one of the shots that I've put up there, which is a picture of one of my guitars. That's my acoustic. I just, I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna ASCII up some photographs that I take, and put like random ASCII versions of them up and on the Gemini site. And I'll probably do the same thing for the main website, or I might put the full fat image equivalent on the main website when I can be bothered to actually put it back up. But so there you go. Then there's some stuff down at the bottom, places I frequent, which are 5, 6, 7, And 8, those are links to the World Wide Web. So if you were to hit 5, 6, 7, or 8, they would just open up a standard browser like Firefox or Chrome and would take you to those sites. I also have some links to other folks who have Gemini pages. We've got Chris Ware, who is also Chris Ware Digital on YouTube, and HexDSL on YouTube and Odyssey. And they make Linuxy content, which is they seem like nice geezers. I frequent their Twitch streams as well. Chris plays a lot of Hitman and stuff like Vampire the Masquerade. I'm terrible at those games, but I do enjoy watching them. Hex has recently got into Ys, if anyone knows. I love the Ys series, so, banter there. But yeah, if I go to, say, Chris's page, so I hit 3, there you go. Here's Chris's page. More stuff on his page than I have on mine. But I aim to kind of be putting up more pages on mine as time goes. They literally take nothing to write a page here. So, it's really quite amazing that this is even a thing. It looks like teletext. It reminds me of teletext. And let's go to Hex, it's just because why not? The entire footprint on this is ridiculously small. Ridiculously small. You're talking, you could probably have an entire Gemini site and it's kilobytes. I mean, I looked at Hex and Chris also have incredibly small websites too, and you're talking probably, I think one of Chris's pages was like either 4 or 40 kilobytes for a page because it was largely text. You got to think there are still some people in the world who don't have access to full internet, like full fat big boy beefy internet like what we do. So I think really the fact that we keep making the internet fatter rather than more efficient is a little bit kind of ugh. We don't want anything else to get fatter, but for some reason the internet, people are like, well, we need faster computers, we need more RAM, we need this, we need that. It's like, you don't. You just need to make things more efficient. And this might not be the prettiest thing, although I will say for a text only thing, I find Odyssey to be nice. I find it quite nice. I can't remember how I get to my yeah, there you go. We'll go back to me. I think this looks kind of nice. It's not for everyone, but I think it's cool. You don't need more powerful things. We just need to cut the fat. Just cut the fat. How annoying is it sometimes? There's no adverts here. There's no tracking here. There's no random annoying pop-ups and paywalls. It's just information that you want, just like back in the day, back when I was younger, on the early days of the internet. I say the early days of the internet, but when the internet was younger, when the internet was less, advertiser friendly. It just boggles the mind that we're happy with sites being as big as they are. I did some checks today. There are entire songs, minutes and minutes worth of audio, smaller than the average web page. The entirety of Doom 1 is smaller than the average web page. If you view a few web pages, you could probably go and get Doom 1 and Doom 2 downloaded. Plenty of playtime in those. The fact that the average website is bigger than the entire book of Lord of the Rings. Like a single web page is bigger than Lord of the Rings. I think Lord of the Rings comes in anywhere between like 800 kilobytes and like a meg and a half. Most of the web pages I checked today are at least 2.5, 3 megs. Lord of the Rings takes a while to read. Most books take longer to read than the articles on those. I was going to say most books, like all books, I think. Like even a pamphlet takes longer to read than most articles on a website. Yet, but for some reason, we are more than happy to pull down all that extra data. Yeah, I'm not going to show off anything more. Just this was the thing that I did today. I quite like it. I've installed a Gemini browser on my phone, and I've been kind of going through like Gemini directories, I suppose, kind of like the old days of the internet when websites you wouldn't go to Google, you'd go to a directory and you'd go, oh, I want to look up something about photography, and you'd click and there's a massive list of sites about photography. Or I want to look up cars, car repair, computers, technology, holidays. Go down the directory, kind of like a phone book. I'm going through directories of Gemini pages, and if I find stuff I like, I'll add them to mine. I'll link them to mine. It's I think it's cool, and like I said, it's so low impact. You can run it on nothing. You can run it in a terminal. You can run it on you can run Gemini sites. You can open Gemini sites on your phone. You can run a Gemini server on like nothing. It uses nothing. Right now, I'm using Linode VPS, like the lowest end one, and there's no way I'll ever use half of that. But I think they're giving me like I can't even remember how much transfer they're giving me a month and how much RAM I've got per month. I will never use it. Ever. Not for, like, I could put up 1 million pages on Gemini or on my actual website because, as I say, I keep my stuff really slim because it's mostly text. I will never use anywhere near all that, but it just doesn't. The internet doesn't need to be as big as it is. It doesn't need to be as clunky and chunky and slow and as it is. Doesn't need that much JavaScript, man. I've actually seen as well Hex and Chris and I think their mate Drew have started like micro-blogging on Gemini. So that they've got like they're basically doing like Twitter posts, like really short little feeds. And then they've got like an aggregator so that you can actually just read down like, so if Drew posts, it comes up. If Hex posts, Hex has come up, and they all get pulled from their individual Gemini pages and are timestamped and then ordered. How fucking cool is that? Alright, sorry, I'm going nerdy. Check out Gemini, look it up. Gemini Project, or look up Chris or Hex on random sites of choice, and then say goodbye interwebnets, I'm going to Gemini. Yeah, literally takes minutes. A complete muppet I managed to kind of stumble my way through setting up a Gemini server. So it's literally a case of like downloading the server binary, making it user executable, and then setting up I forgot what it's called now, but the thing to make systemd run the server on startup. So run the server and then tell systemd that when and if the server reboots, start the actual server, the full computer thing. When that restarts, start up the Gemini server again. And that was like it. And then you just put in the files that are the Gemini site, which are basically just text documents, and you're done. That's it. That's it. There's nothing to it. I still managed to stuff it up somehow, but I managed to fix it, and it takes no time at all. It's cool. Right, I'm off. Gemini. I need to find out what other stuff you can actually put on Gemini, because I think Chris Ware is going to put up an audio podcast in OGG format. Like I said, I think that will just make it download onto your machine. So you go to the page and then select the thing, and it will download the file. It doesn't play in the browser. Yeah, just seems neat. You could type huge amounts of text, and it will use no bandwidth. You could run this stuff, like I say, on a pasty. I keep a Raspberry Pi Zero in my bag. Gemini would be perfect for that. Raspberry Pi Zero is like a 5-pound computer. Like, that would be great. It'd be absolutely great. You could put entire books on there and not have to worry about bandwidth or anything. And ASCII art. That works well. Alright. Hope you're well. And I'll See you in the next one. Simplify.